Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current and latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So potentially quite a few things to talk about on this video today. Of course I've just done my recent video giving you a bit of an analysis on the Wolves Watford game in the FA Cup semi-final of course today as well. And potentially Daily Fayu makes the difference, inspiring a fantastic comeback for Watford of course, and now Watford in the FA Cup final for the first time since 1984, so that's what, 35 years ago or something like that now, to be quite honest with you. And obviously we saw Everton beating Arsenal today of course as well. So that's today's results of course, as well as I updated you on my current last video. But this is going to be a fairly long video, to be quite honest with you. Going to be discussing some transfer news, that's going on, and I'm going to be discussing a lot of other things as well, that's been going on in the media today as well. So the first topic of the development we'll start with is in relation to Eden Hazard of course as well. I haven't really spoke about Eden Hazard for quite a while, to be honest with you as well. We do know that Real Madrid obviously have been long admirers of Eden Hazard of course as well, and obviously Zinedine Zidane now, this is his second spell in charge of Real Madrid of course, and obviously he's emphasising his targets Zinedine Zidane, and he's obviously planning who to bring into Real Madrid this summer of course as well, and he's emphasised quite a few targets as Zinedine Zidane. Obviously he's got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022, but I think Florentino Perez is giving him around a £300 million spending spree to spend it this summer of course as well. So potentially there is reports coming out about Eden Hazard now reportedly as well, saying that reportedly Real Madrid are reportedly on the verge of landing Eden Hazard from Chelsea of course as well. So reports have been coming out about this, and reportedly this could be finalised in the next couple of days or something. I think an agreement has currently been made, but I think reportedly it's going to cost Real Madrid in the process of around £100 million reportedly to get Eden Hazard of course from Chelsea this summer. So potentially this is what Chelsea will demand. Obviously Chelsea have been in the process to try and convince him to sign a new contract. Obviously it did say Chelsea willing to offer him £300,000 a week, but reportedly Eden Hazard has turned this contract offer down of course well, and Chelsea from their perspective do know how much of a central player Eden Hazard is of course, because potentially he's the best player. His work ethic's good, his physicality is very very good, he's scored a lot of goals for Chelsea of course, and in all competitions for Chelsea I think he's made over 300 appearances, he's scored over 100 odd goals in all competitions as well. Obviously the majority of his goals have come in the Premier League. Eden Hazard's, this is 7th season now in the process with Chelsea Football Club of course as well. So this is 7th season, because obviously Chelsea got him from Lille back in 2012, as we all know. His current deal does end in 2020s, does Eden Hazard of course as well. But he was speaking last summer as Eden Hazard about his desire to play for Madrid, and obviously he described them as a dream club and all that did Eden Hazard, and obviously he's got a great relationship with Zinedine Zidane of course as well. So potentially now I think he indicated that he did want to leave Chelsea last summer, but from Chelsea's perspective they would want to really lose him, considering as well that they have currently got a transfer ban of Chelsea as well. Chelsea have appealed against this. I don't know if it's going to be lifted or delayed. I'm not too sure, but reportedly now Real Madrid are reportedly on the verge of getting Eden Hazard, and reports are coming out saying that reportedly Real Madrid are willing to offer him around £350,000 a week, reportedly willing to offer him a 6-year deal of course as well, worth around £110 million according to the media of course as well. So potentially I think it's a deal all in all worth around £210 million. Obviously it's going to cost Real Madrid about £100 million to get him. Obviously it's a 6-year deal as we all currently know worth around £110 million as reports do say, and I think his weekly wage is going to be around £350,000 a week of course is Eden Hazard, because obviously as I did say Real Madrid are obviously planning to make investment this summer, and they've been interested in quite a few targets. Paul Pogba, Mbappe, Sadio Mane has also been a target for Real Madrid of course as well, because potentially they've got Gareth Bale there of course is out of favour. He's been linked, there's possibility he could leave Real Madrid this summer, Gareth Bale of course as well, because obviously Gareth Bale this is 6th season in the Spanish capital of course as well. Bale, obviously it did say Florentino Perez has lost patience with him. Obviously he's been possibly linked with a return back to the Premier League as Gareth Bale of course as well, but potentially for me he's aging up now, he's on the decline. Obviously all his silverware he's won has obviously come at Real Madrid as Gareth Bale's of course as well. Obviously this is 6th season as I said. Real Madrid you know, paid about £85 million to him from Tottenham, you know, back in 2013, as we all know as well. So if Real Madrid, you know, do sell Bale this summer, I don't think they'll recoup the initial £85 million they paid for him from Tottenham back in 2013. You know, they still may get about maybe £55-60 million there for Bale, but his age, you know, his ratio's still very, very good, but he's injury prone, of course, as well. And he's been linked to Manchester United for a number of years, of course, as well, but I wouldn't want him at my club, of course, as well. But obviously all his silverware he's won has obviously, you know, become at Real Madrid, but he's well Premier League proven because he did have 6 good years at Tottenham, you know, when he was younger. He actually began his career with Southampton as well, did Bale, but he's still got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022, but obviously, you know, Bale's out of favour. Obviously, as well, Ronaldo left Real Madrid, of course, last summer, of course. Obviously, he spent 9 years, I think, of course, with Real Madrid, because obviously Real Madrid paid £80 million for Ronaldo from Manchester United, of course, as well. So potentially he went to Juventus last summer, and obviously last summer Real Madrid didn't find an adequate replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, as well. So potentially, yeah, it's looking like they're on the verge of getting Eden Hazard reportedly at Real Madrid, of course, as well. And potentially we do know that Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of Eden Hazard. He's also a big admirer of Paul Pogba, of course, as well, because potentially I think from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's perspective, you know, he wants to keep Paul Pogba, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He also wants to keep David De Gea, of course, well, but they're both, you know, demanding a pay rise. De Gea's demanding a pay rise. Pogba's demanding a pay rise, of course, as well. But there has been a lot of reports coming out from the Spanish media, as we all know, you know, a couple of weeks ago, saying that reportedly Paul Pogba's made a decision on his Manchester United future, and reportedly he's intending on making a move to Madrid this summer. So what he said about Madrid, he's not intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England, of course, as well as Paul Pogba. But potentially he's been talking a lot about Real Madrid, you know, describing them as a dream club and all that. You know, he admits playing for Zinedine Zidane, you know, would be a dream for him. And he basically said, you know, Real Madrid's a dream for anyone. And this is what, you know, basically Paul Pogba said. So this could have concerns to Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, of what Paul Pogba has come out and currently said, of course, as well. But we want to keep Paul Pogba, of course. And if any offers do come for him this summer from Real Madrid, and I think Manchester United are willing to turn them down, of course, as well. But there's been a lot of rumours going on about it. Obviously, Paul Pogba's in his 3rd season now with Manchester United, as we all currently know, because we paid £89 million for him back in 2016. Obviously, our most expensive signing, of course, as well. But potentially, it did say Real Madrid were willing to offer him around 125 or 126 million this summer, reportedly as well, because obviously his agent Raiola has obviously, you know, been in the process of finding him a new club. He's been to me, I think he's had a couple of negotiations with Madrid about a summer move. He's also been to Manchester, you know, negotiating about a summer move for Paul Pogba, of course, as well. But he's still under contract till 2021. So he's still got over 2 years left on his deal. I think there's also an option of a further year, of course, as well. But potentially Zinedine Zidane has admitted, you know, he does like Paul Pogba a lot, of course, as well. So potentially now Man United, I think, are in the process of beginning contract negotiations with Paul Pogba, reportedly. But reportedly Paul Pogba's demanding he wants an astronomical salary of around £500,000 a week if he's to commit his long-term future in Manchester United, and if he's to remain loyal at Manchester United. He wants around £500,000 a week. So potentially he wants to be the highest paid player at the club alongside Alexis Sanchez, of course. Well, I did say what currently Sanchez is earning. You know, it's totally affecting our wage structure, quite honestly, because as I did say now, we've got other players, you know, demanding quite a bit more money, because Paul Pogba's on £300,000 a week at the moment, and potentially now he's demanding a £200,000 pay rise, of course, if he is to potentially, you know, sign a new contract with Manchester United. I think Man United are willing to offer him a new 3-year deal, which would take him under contract term until 2024, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of reports going on saying that Paul Pogba's been heavily linked to a move to Madrid. There's also been talks that he could possibly make a return back to Italy and go back to his former club Juventus as well, to where, to be fair, he did have 4 great years, of course, as well. But we actually had Paul Pogba before he went to Juventus, you know, obviously under Alex Ferguson era, but obviously he left because obviously he wasn't guaranteed to get first team football under Alex Ferguson. So as a youngster, he left Manchester United, and we actually let him go, I think, on a free transfer, of course, well, and then actually 4 years later, Manchester United purchased him for £89 million. But Paul Pogba's performances have been way below par in the last couple of games. But I've analysed his performances overall, you know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's coming in, to be fair. His performances have really improved, Paul Pogba's overall. You know, he breaks up the play well. You know, he operates better, you know, when he's in a free role. Paul Pogba provides good service to the front men. He's been, you know, he has been scoring goals. He has been providing and all that, as well as Paul Pogba. So potentially we do want to keep Paul Pogba. At the moment, his future is up in the air, of course, as well. So potentially Real Madrid have emphasised, you know, quite a few times targets. They're focusing on getting this Eden Hazard deal, completed. Then their attention will focus more on Paul Pogba, when they have completed the signing of Eden Hazard. So it's likely Real Madrid are going to get Eden Hazard this summer, and it'll cost Real Madrid around £100 million to get him, of course, as well. So basically Chelsea are losing one of their best players, of course. But obviously if their transfer ban can get lifted, if Eden Hazard does leave in the summer, which is looking very, very likely now, obviously Chelsea are going to want a replacement for him, of course, as well. So that's the latest news, to update you on that as well. And potentially there's other breaking news I want to give you an update on, because obviously we do know that Manchester United obviously is still in the search of looking to hire a director of football to come in, of course, as well, to change the club structure and all that. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer is obviously, going to need some backing, of course, as well, because obviously now he's got the job full time. Obviously we didn't spend out in January. Obviously, we didn't get as priority targets last summer. We didn't spend much last summer. So I think reportedly Solskjaer's obviously in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, of course, as well, and he's looking to, build a team worthy of the club's history, of course, well. But I think he's going to get around £200 million to spend this summer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has currently said himself, I think he wants at least 5 new additions to come in this summer, of course, because I think he's expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out, of course, well. So maybe 6 players could go, maybe 7 players could go. I think Solskjaer did say he's ready to get rid of around 6 players, of course, as well. And Solskjaer's monitored an interest, in quite a few young upcoming talents, of course, as well, because we have got quite a host of experienced players, and they do seem to be the ones that caused us the problem. So potentially he's identified the areas where he thinks United need to strengthen up. I think we need a right back. I think his priority, is to get a right winger in, of course, as well. Obviously, as well, I think he's keen on adding some new additions into that midfield, and of course we need a centre back, of course, someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof. But maybe we should spend the money wisely in the summer, of course, as well, instead of paying maybe £100 million for one player, of course, as well, because maybe you could get 2 or 3 current players, for maybe just 100 million or just over 100 million, of course, as well. So there has been a few candidates named, for the director's role, reportedly, as well. But one name that's just been mentioned in the media that I've looked up today, and reportedly, Edwin van der Sar has reportedly been mentioned in the media as well. Currently, Edwin van der Sar now is the CEO at Ajax, of course, as well. But reportedly, will Manchester United, look to hire Edwin van der Sar, to become our director of football, of course, as well. Paul Mitchell's also been mentioned as a possible candidate in the past as well. But reportedly, Edwin van der Sar has reportedly, come out and he's admitted that reportedly, I think he did basically say that Edwin van der Sar has come out, and I think he's admitted that he could potentially come back to Manchester United, to fulfill the administrative role, reportedly. So he's admitted as Edwin van der Sar that he could come back to Manchester United to be the director of football, reportedly, as well. Because obviously, Edwin van der Sar does know about the club. Obviously, he was a great goalkeeper for Manchester United, as we all know. Manchester United had him, of course, 6 years at Old Trafford, of course, as well. He was a great goalkeeper, and I think, he won 4 Premier League titles with us. He also won the Champions League with us. I think he won the League Cup with us as well, did Edwin van der Sar. But obviously now, as it stands, he's the CEO Ajax, of course, as well. So I don't think he's interested now, maybe in the future sometime he may be interested in coming to fulfill the director's role at Manchester United, of course, as well. But he's the CEO now at Ajax. Obviously he played for Ajax as a player as well, and then I think he actually went to Juventus, he went to Fulham as well, and then Manchester United actually paid around £2 million to Fulham, to get him, of course, as well. So he's possibly being mentioned in the media, of course, as well. But potentially, definitely investment is needed into Manchester United this summer, because you can potentially, see the deficiencies in the squad, as I've already identified to you. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's obviously now, there's still lots of work to be done. He's been in discussions with Ed Woodward, what players should stay, what players should come in, what players should leave, of course, in the summer as well. But the most essential thing is we've got to try and get Champions League for next season. So in that aspect, it makes us have more of a competitive summer transfer window. And of course, if we do want to get the players, to the highest level, of course, as well, we do know a lot of money's being spent at Manchester United. Don't forget, a lot of money has been spent, since Ferguson retired. We must have spent about 6 or nearly £700 million, of course. Well, we've had different managers with different philosophies, and since Ferguson retired, we have been playing catch up, for the last 5 years, of course, or something like that, as well. But potentially, the most money that was spent, I think Jose Mourinho, when he was here, he spent just under £400 million on 11 players, of course, well. So obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's obviously, inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. Obviously, there's still some players here from Louis van Gaal, of course, as well. And potentially, we haven't won a trophy, back since 2017, when we won the Europa League against Ajax. We haven't won the Premier League, since 2013. So we haven't won the Premier League for now, 6 years, or something like that, as well. But if we want to be up there, if we want to be a competitive elite level football club again, we've got to get the right investment this summer. And if we do want to be up there challenging, with the likes of City and Liverpool, we've got to get the right players, of course, as well. Potentially, as I did currently say, players who I do think are possibly, going to depart Manchester United this summer, in my opinion, to be quite honest with you, as well. Definitely, we know that Valencia is on his way out of the club, as we all know. This is 10th season at Manchester United, of course, and over the years, Valencia has been very, very essential for Manchester United, as we all know, as well. But essentially now, he's lost his place in the team, of course. He's 33 years of age. The club have obviously opted against the decision, to give him that new 1-year extension, of course, as well. Ashley Young, for me, needs to go, even though he's our first choice right back. But again, he's 33 years of age, he's Ashley Young. For me, he's too old now, to be quite honest with you, as well. And obviously, I know we triggered that 1-year extension not too long ago on his contract. So if he doesn't leave this summer, obviously he'll probably leave when his 1-year extension, expires, of course, as well. But by the time that 1-year contract expires, Ashley Young will be nearly 35 years of age, of course, as well. So definitely, I think he's on his way out of Manchester United this summer, as well. Well, could be on his way out this summer, or probably, when his probably 1-year extension expires. I'm not too sure. And I think Marcus Rojo's on his way out of the club as well, because his career has been affected at Manchester United. The amount of injuries he's currently suffered as a United player. So I think he's on his way out as well. He's Marcus Rojo, to be quite honest, and I think if a new centre-back is to come to Manchester United this summer, I also think Eric Bailly could be on his way out of the club as well, because obviously Eric Bailly's been here since 2016, as we all know as well. I think in the Premier League he's made 49 appearances for the club. As we all know, he's only scored that 1 goal, don't forget, but he has been essential over these 3 years, we've had him at Manchester United. He's been in and out of the team this season as Eric Bailly, and he's, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has preferred the likes of Smalling and Jones over Eric Bailly, but I think now Eric Bailly may be increasingly becoming frustrated with his lack of playing time under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. Potentially this is his 3rd season at Manchester United, but if a new centre-back is to come in the summer, I think he could be also on his way out. Smalling's future's uncertain. I think Smalling's a backup option, for us in that defensive area, to be quite honest with you. Phil Jones' future is uncertain with the club as well. I also think that Matteo Darmian's on his way out of Manchester United this summer as well, because Matteo Darmian's endured a very, very difficult time here as a Manchester United player. I think this is his 4th season now. I think he's injured at the moment as well. We paid just over £12 million in from Torino, was it 4 years ago or something like that as well. So I do think Darmian's on his way out. Definitely Sanchez on his way out of the club as well, because Sanchez has been very, very an inconsistent player for Manchester United. He's been here about 15, 16 months now, is it? And he's been very, very poor indeed. He's been one of our most inconsistent players as Alexis Sanchez. And obviously, as I did say, currently the wages he's receiving, it's a substantial amount, of course, and obviously he's our best player now. We've got other players demanding quite a bit more money, and it's totally affected our wage structure. As I did say, it's going to be hard to find a buy for him this summer, Sanchez, considering his substantial wages. Man United may consider loaning him out, or unless Sanchez is willing to take some kind of wage cut, I do not know, because obviously a lot of teams are not going to be able to afford, to pay Sanchez's wages off, of course, as well. But when he's played, he just looks so restricted. It just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom, of course, as well. And he's been very, very inconsistent as Alexis Sanchez, of course. So he just doesn't fit in under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's system. He's suffered quite a few injuries here at Manchester United, of course, as well. So I think he'll be going in the summer, of course. There's a lot of people saying, that Romelu Lukaku also, should be moved on, of course, as well, because Lukaku, he's got a really, really good pedigree in the Premier League, and his goal scoring form is really, really good indeed. But Lukaku, for me, I've got reservations about him, because his finishing's not that good, so he needs to improve on his finishing. He doesn't get enough of them runs in behind, to be quite honest with him as well. He just seems to bottle it against the big teams, and his first touch, really, really concerns me. Even though he's really lost his place in the team, because obviously Rashford's first choice ahead of him. But actually, before the international break, he regained his position, back in the team. Did Romelu Lukaku, and he looked very, very good alongside Marcus Rashford. They were a fantastic partnership, to be quite honest with him as well. Obviously Manchester United, spent spent big on Lukaku. You know, we paid about £75 million for him from Everton a couple of years ago as well. So essentially, a lot of Manchester United fans are demanding that he should be moved on in the summer, should Romelu Lukaku, of course, as well. And I also think, you know, Mata's on his way out of Manchester United as well, and he's another player I think on his way out as well. You know, Juan Mata again, he's been a good servant to Manchester United. You know, this is his 5th season now in the process with Manchester United's Juan Mata, and he's got a good pedigree in the Premier League. You know, he's been in the Premier League a lot of years now as Juan Mata, as we all know as well. I think for Manchester United, he's made over 200 odd appearances for the club. I think he's scored 50 goals in the Premier League, of course, as well. You know, Juan Mata, and Juan Mata's a very, very good player. You know, I still really, really like him, even though he has lost that yard of pace now, because obviously he's age 30 now. He's Juan Mata. There's been reports coming out saying that Barcelona are in talks to get him on a free transfer in the summer, of course. Well, I think Man United have been in talks, you know, of getting Juan Mata a new contract term at the club, but obviously it probably won't be a new long-term contract, considering that he is age 30 now, of course. Well, but you can operate him as an attacking mid, you can put him on the right wing, of course, as well. And we paid around £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2014, but he's got a great pedigree in the Premier League. He's won a lot of trophies. You know, he's won trophies here. You know, he won trophies at Chelsea, including the Champions League, of course. Well, but he actually, the only thing he hasn't won, I don't think he's ever won the Premier League one, and I think that's the only thing he hasn't won, to be quite honest with you. But obviously, he had a lot of experience of playing in Spain when he was young. You know, he began his career with Madrid. You know, he played at Valencia for 4 years under Unai, of course, as well. So he could be on his way out this summer, of course, as well. But the most essential thing is for me, you know, Manchester United, you know, have got to add some new additions into that midfield, of course. We do need someone, you know, that can go alongside Pogba, someone that can go alongside Matic, because for me, we need a centre defensive midfielder, you know, that's fast and tenacious, of course, because for me, Matic, you know, I've got reservations about him. I've analysed his performances mainly since Solskjaer's coming in this 3 months or so, and they've really, really improved, to be quite honest. You know, his performances, his distribution's improved, he's looking more effective in his passing and all that, and, you know, mainly he has been fitting that midfield trio very, very well, but I think since he's recovered from injury, you know, Matic, you know, he just hasn't been performing that well. He's been below par, he's slowed that midfield down, he's looked very, very ineffective indeed, and this explains why he was dropped probably, you know, against Wolves, of course, as well. So we need a centre defensive mid, you know, it's fast and tenacious. Don't forget, you know, Nemanja Matic, of course, is aging up as well. But we need some new additions into that midfield, of course, as well. It's looking like Herrera is also on his way out this summer, of course, as well. So potentially Solskjaer's expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out, of course, as well. But I'll give you some targets, you know, that Manchester United have been interested in, of course, well. And, you know, Saul Niguez, you know, there's been talks about him going on, you know. Do you think he'd be a good replacement, you know, for Ander Herrera? You know, Saul Niguez is 24, he's Spanish, as we all know as well, he's Saul Niguez. He's Spanish, of course. He's going to cost us quite a bit of money because he's got a release clause of around £128 million in his deal with Atletico Madrid, of course, as Saul Niguez. But he's versatile, this player. You know, he can operate as a defensive mid, he can operate as a central mid, he can also play on the right, of course, as well, you know, can Saul Niguez. So he's versatile, is this player, as we all know as well. You know, he can fulfill the number 6 role, he can fulfill the number 8 role, and all that as well. And he actually has spent the majority of his career with Atletico Madrid, you know, graduated from their youth system. He's going to make over 200 odd appearances for Atletico Madrid, of course, as well. So it did indicate that reportedly, you know, he does want the Premier League move, you know, the Saul Niguez. And do you think he'd be a great addition in our squad? Do you think he'd look good alongside Pogba and Matic in our midfield, of course, as well? So Manchester United have reportedly been interested. It also said that Man City have also been interested in Saul Niguez, as well. So there has been a lot of talks going on about it, but he's 24 years of age, as we all know, as well as Saul Niguez. So he's been mentioned in the media, of course, well. But obviously, you know, look at our midfield. You know, Pogba's future's up in the air. It's looking like Herrera's going. Matic, for me, he's not good enough at the moment. He's too slow. And we've got the fringe players in that midfield, of course, you know, with the likes of McTominay, Pereira and Fred. For me, I don't know if Fred is a long-term solution, if I'm going to be quite honest with you, of course, as well. And, you know, when we did have that injury crisis, you know, McTominay were playing well. You know, Andres Pereira also played well as well. But I don't think, you know, they've got, like, the capabilities to graduate Manchester United, you know, to that next level, of course, as well. So essentially, we definitely need some new additions in that midfield. And potentially, you know, there's been a lot of talks, you know, defensively now, you know, going on about Rafael Varane, of course. And we know that he'd address our defensive deficiencies fantastically well, Rafael Varane. You know, if he was to come in, we do know he's not going to be cheap, you know, Rafael Varane, of course, well. But world-class player, highly experienced, but he's only 25 years of age, is Rafael Varane. It's quite incredible, you know, what he's achieved as a 25-year-old. Obviously, he spent the the majority of his career in Spain. You know, this is his 8th season now at Real Madrid, of course, as well. Rafael Varane, you know, he's got a huge release clause of around £429 million as Rafael Varane, as we all know as well. But he's still under contract with Real Madrid until 2022, as we all know as well. But potentially, I think Man United have been in talks, you know, to sign Rafael Varane for around £100 million reportedly as well. It's also said that PSG, I think Juventus have also expressed an interest in Rafael Varane reportedly as well. And he looked very, very good alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. But I said he's won about 15, 16 major honours at Real Madrid. He's made just under 270 appearances for Real Madrid in all competitions, of course, as well. Reports have been coming out from Spain saying that reportedly he is considering leaving Real Madrid this summer, reportedly as well. But I don't think Zinedine Zidane or Real Madrid are willing to let Rafael Varane go, of course, as well. But I do really, really highly rate him. As a youngster, he obviously, you know, began his career in France with Lens as well, did Rafael Varane. So his name has also been mentioned. But potentially, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has reportedly said that reportedly he wants Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, you know, he's a right back. Reportedly he wants Declan Rice. He also wants Chelsea's Callum Hudson-Odoi. But obviously now Chelsea are going to be more ruthless in that scenario of Callum Hudson-Odoi, considering that obviously it's likely Eden Hazard's going to join Real Madrid this summer. Chelsea wouldn't want to lose Callum Hudson-Odoi, of course, as well. But it's good that he's showing an interest quite a few young players. Solskjaer, of course, all British, of course, as well. And now Wan-Bissaka, you know, his defensive capabilities are supposed to be very, very good. And for me, I think he'd be perfect successor to the likes of Valencia and Ashley Young and all that, because he's only 21. He's one of England's youngest upcoming prospects, you know, of course, as well. As I said, he's only 21. Obviously, so far, spent the entirety of his playing career with Crystal Palace, as we all know, as Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He only broke into their senior team last year, and I think he's gone on to make about 35, 40 appearances in the first team, you know, with Crystal Palace as well. But you can get him for a reasonable figure, because obviously I think he's rated at around 40 million. Reports are coming out the other day saying that Man United would pay him to put a £35 million bid in for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, reportedly as well. So I do really, really highly rate him, to be quite honest with you. So he's a really, really good player, and I think we need someone young and ambitious on that right-hand side. You know, obviously Declan Rice has been mentioned again, only 20 years of age, one of England's youngest upcoming talents. Reportedly had a good season, you know, with West Ham, reportedly as well this season, and he's a really, really good holding midfielder, reportedly. I think he can play as a centre-back, but I think he's mainly a defensive midfielder. Is Declan Rice. He's got a contract with West Ham till 2024, as we all know, as well. So essentially his name has also been mentioned in the media as well. But I think he's valued around £40 million, is Declan Rice, of course, as well. And Solskjaer's obviously also said, you know, that reportedly, you know, he wants Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. And, you know, we probably won't get Callum Hudson-Odoi in the summer. Obviously, that was Bayern Munich's top priority, you know, back in January, of course, you know, was Callum Hudson-Odoi. Bayern Munich had talks. Bayern Munich had a host of bids turned down. Bayern Munich, you know, were willing to offer him the number 10 shirt, of course, as well. But Bayern Munich couldn't come to an agreement, you know, to get him back in January, of course, as well. And potentially it said that Man United have showed an interest. Man United have joined the race. It also said that Liverpool have spoken to Callum Hudson-Odoi's agent, of course, well. And Callum Hudson-Odoi still may want to leave Chelsea this summer. I think Chelsea have been in the process, you know, to try and convince him to sign a new deal, because he still remains on the contract at the moment with Chelsea until 2020. But I think Callum Hudson-Odoi, you know, has been having strong reservations about his game time with Chelsea, of course, as well, you know, especially in the Premier League. I think most recently, you know, he made his first Premier League start, did Callum Hudson-Odoi, but only 18, one of England's youngest upcoming talents, of course, as well. And Bayern Munich may revive their interest in Callum Hudson-Odoi this summer, of course, well. But I think that's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. But we do know the club's number one priority target is obviously, you know, Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho, as we all know as well. But we do know he's going to cost us a nine-figure sum. He's going to cost us around £100 million, you know, without a shadow of a doubt. You know, he's still got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. Again, one of England's youngest upcoming talents, only 19 years of age, only just turned 19 not too long ago. Broke into the England first team last year, of course, as well. But we do need someone that can play between the bylines and put crosses into the box. And I think he'll link up very, very well alongside Rashford and Martial in our attacking line, you know, to Carnage, because he's proven himself fantastically well in Germany, of course, well. But I think Borussia Dortmund may be reluctant to let him go this summer, because Borussia Dortmund do know how much of a central player he is to their team, of course, as well. But obviously, he's a former Manchester City player. I think he only served a couple of years with Manchester City, did Jadon Sancho. He never got into the first team, and he was never guaranteed to get in the first team regularly. This is why he departed City and went to Borussia Dortmund. I think now this is his second season in the process with Borussia Dortmund is Jadon Sancho, and if we were to come to an agreement to get him in the summer, it'd obviously, make him the most expensive English footballer ever as well. But I think he still remains the club's #1 priority target, does Jadon Sancho. So the good thing is, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's emphasising his targets, of course, getting an idea, of who he wants to bring in. And obviously, we've got a board, that can invest, who Solskjaer wants to bring to Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. Potentially, I think tomorrow, the Manchester United Barcelona preview will be coming up, I think, tomorrow. Get a bit of the news, see what's going on. A bit of team news, I think Rashford, he said he's got an ankle injury or something like that. He will be assessed. This is why Rashford actually, missed the Wolves game, of course, well, when we lost 2-1. That did get confirmed, of course, as well. So I don't know if Rashford will be able to play against Barcelona. It said Eric Bay's got a concussion. He's got some kind of head injury, so I don't think he'll be available. I think it did say Ander Herrera has suffered a slight knock as well. But more things, obviously, will update. Valencia, I think, is still out. Darmian, of course, is still out, of course, when we do know that Sanchez is obviously out with a knee injury, so he's definitely, not going to be involved against Barcelona. So potentially, more things will update, as I said, in the process of that. Probably the preview, as I did say, probably will be coming up for that tomorrow, of course, as well. So just wanted to give you an update on, mainly, I wanted to give you an update on Hazard and give you a lot of updates on other things as well. So reportedly, Eden Hazard's on the verge of joining Real Madrid. I'll go through it again. Reportedly, Real Madrid have got to pay around £100 million to get him. Real Madrid reportedly willing to offer him £350,000 a week, a 6-year deal worth around £110 million. Reportedly, so he's getting a significant, rise in his wage, Eden Hazard, of course, as well. So potentially now, he's looking like he'll be playing under Zinedine Zidane, this summer, of course, as well. So anyway, guys, as I did currently say, and as I give you the update on David De Gea, of course, as well, there's reports coming out about him, and his future's uncertain with Manchester United at the moment, because we haven't got him a new contract yet. It's saying PSG are interested in him, Juventus are interested in him, Real Madrid have been long admirers of David De Gea, of course, as well, but I think he's demanding De Gea that he wants to be one of the best played players at the club as well. He's demanding wages in the excess of around £350,000 a week, is David De Gea, but reports are saying that Man United are not willing to meet it. Man United are still in talks of getting him a new contract, but we've not yet come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract term, of course, as well. But potentially, I don't think Solskjaer will let Pogba leave, and he won't let David De Gea leave, of course, as well. And that's what Solskjaer's focusing on at the moment. But yeah, I think there's going to be a big summer clear, and I do think there's going to be at least 5 or 6 players that are going to depart the club this summer. And, obviously, we're going to maybe try and raise some funds as well for that. Maybe we might get some funds for Sanchez. Of course, as well. So we might try and raise some money as well. But I think we're going to get around over 200 million spent this summer. I think for 5 new additions, it is going to cost us like over £200 million or something like that as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. I'd appreciate, if you did smash that like button, or it's up to you or whatever. And take care. God bless, guys, and I'll see you guys all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.